Hi, I'm JC Vander on the Learning and Development team here at GitLab. I'm joined by Nicolas Dular, Interim Full Stack Engineering Manager here at GitLab, and today we're going to be talking about career development. So Nicolas, could you start off by telling us a little bit about what your career development has looked like so far to date?
Sure, thanks, JC. So, yeah, I started early. I started programming when I was like 13, 14 years old. I tried to sell like website to some businesses back then and as a teenager. And then I suddenly became a freelancer while I was studying computer science in my 20s. And in that time, I worked as a front-end engineer, UX designer somehow, and also completed products for clients. And then after like studying, I joined a small company with like less than 4 people. Worked there for a few years, and left there when there were like 40 people there. And yeah, then I joined GitLab as a senior full stack engineer. 2 years later, I became an interim engineering manager. And what I want to emphasize with the story is that I always had the goal to go into like a leadership position, but I knew that I need to explore different areas before that. So freelancing, for example, taught me like how can I deal with ambiguity with clients, and being a manager of one as well, and how I can like coordinate different stakeholder opinions. And yeah, doing also like a lot of studying by the side, or like computer science. So it kept me on being time efficient in at this time. Then joining this small company and growing to like 40 people, it I saw like the direct value I can bring as a single engineer to a customer, and that I can like get a lot of responsibility to get a job done in like one role. So I was lucky to be trusted back then from my lead. And so GitLab then is teaching me how I can be like how I work in larger organizations and how I can tackle problems that have a larger scope and impact. So yeah, that's my career development so far.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So, as you have moved through your career, what intentional steps have you taken to get where you are today?
Yeah, basically none. I think everything only can be told backwards, in my opinion. So I was never intentional about anything at all. So I'm very picky about work. I'm not a good worker when I'm not motivated. So I usually ask myself like a few questions like, do I still learn something on the job? Do I enjoy working at the company with the team? Is the interest that I have aligned with the company, and what impact do I have? And do I have potential to grow? And if one of these questions is like a no, I'm usually trying to consider changing a job. And that this ensures me is that I never stop growing, and I just grow and head to the direction I want to go, because yeah, these questions help me with that. And yeah, the rest of my career was basically luck. So I started only with Rails because my self-built PHP framework wasn't that nice, and I googled web frameworks back then 10 years ago, and Rails popped up. And I got my first job just because I wanted some free startup swag and CI minutes from a startup back then in Vienna. And yeah, this sparked some interest from someone else, and then I got contacted by them. And my next job I got because I was a coach at Rails Girls, and I met my next manager. And at GitLab, I just got reached out by LinkedIn because I changed my job title from software engineer to full stack engineer, and luckily GitLab was searching full stack engineers back then. So it was pure luck in the end, how I got to this, and nothing was intentional. And I love like there's this talk by Simone Gertz, where she says like why you should make useless things, and I loved it because she just does what she wants to do, and it's like maybe useless, but she learns so much by that. And then due to coincidences, she goes along.
That's awesome. I will make sure to add the link to that video in the description of this video so people can reference that. Um, so what advice would you have for team members who are working on their career development?
Yeah, find what makes you the most energized and excited every day when you go to work. So communicate these goals to your manager so they can find opportunities where they can arise. So also look outside of what's planned in your area. Maybe you have something that aligns with your interest that is not in the area you're working in. This could be like a side project, a book club, or some working group. So make these connections throughout the company. And then there's also a formal part of this where I'm very lazy at. So document what you did before, like document your success. So have this document ready when it's time for the promotion. Then a common pattern that I see is everyone wants to be ready when they start something, and I'm like just like maybe too naive for this, but I usually start something before I investigate. So some might want to read a book or watch a talk or have a workshop how to be like the next role they want to get into, and I usually just started and then later on tried to read the up on the material because it was easier for me to connect the dots. So start when you're not ready. So if you think you're not ready to be a manager, ask if you can lead a team meeting. If you don't think you can lead something already, write a proposal with a good plan for something. And yeah, then if you don't think like you're ready for senior, start helping others. So I think start when you're not ready is my general advice.
That's really great advice. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I think this information will be really helpful for GitLab team members that are looking to grow their careers.
Sure, thanks. Happy to help.